Hello, this is Paul again from TrainworX. Today we're gonna take a look at part 2 actually of the tutorial for the Lion shuttle, also known as HVZ-D, which operates in Zurich and the surrounding areas, mainly north of Zurich. In part 1 we discussed how to do basic operations to start up the engine and get moving, and I explained a little bit about how the whole project came about. So if you'd like to see that, please follow the link to that first tutorial video. In this video I'm going to drive a little stretch of the Lake Constance route by Rivet Games to show you automatic start up and also activation of the ZUP system. So let's go and take a look. Okay, I've started up a scenario. This is a scenario that I will also include in the release package for this train. It's based on the actual Rivet scenario. I just made some changes to it to make it work with the Lion. So there are 12 stations. And you will have to stop at those at some of the stations, and some of the stations will only be requested stops. So that's we can move that. The startup again, it's all explained in video 1. But what I'll do now is just unlock the panel, press Ctrl-Shift-S. And everything should be, well, not everything, but we're 90% ready to start up. I will open the doors with T to load the passengers on the left side, and we are at Kreuzlingen, so I will get the right. That's not. Here we are. So this is the time schedule. I mean, the times here are not. I mean, they're just set, so they're not interactive. I think it might even be possible to make them interactive, but that would be so much work and also create other problems. So the stations and speeds are all correct. The timing is something that's not correct. I might create a scenario that sticks to this timing so that it will be correct in that case, but I'll come to that later. Anyway, we've started up the engine, or at least the main important things. I'll loosen the engine brake. There's another one, and we can now proceed. I'm a little bit slow because I'm obviously trying to do many things at once, but what we can do is start up ZUP by pressing the green button. It'll do a short test sequence, then do a brake. I can kill that with the red switch, re-engage the Hauptschalter, the main switch, and then the ZUP system is operational, and it will talk to the magnets that are in this track. Again, this will only work on Rivet Games routes. If you're driving on something else than a Rivet Game route, you're better off not activating this ZUP and just default to the normal AWS security system, which is a basic default security system that Train Simulator uses. Anyway, we are already late, so I'll loosen the brakes into release position. I will switch on the lights with H. It'll go to the first setting here, 3 whites, which is correct, and we will drive off. Okay, it says 100 now, but this says 60, so we will just it changes to 60 now too. And we will gradually accelerate to 60. And we can go to 100 now. A little more. When we pass a zip magnet, a little yellow LED will flash very briefly. Again, this is not something that's happening in the real one, in the real train. Okay, let's pay attention. The H is now lit, so that means we have to stop. It's a request stop, and we have to slow down. It's always difficult to do a tutorial and also do correct operations, but I'm sure many of you can do this a lot better than I'm doing now. Okay, the lights are flashing here, so that means that there is a stop requested. And also this H is... okay, now we come to a problem, or... well, it's a slight problem. This route is not actually made for the length of the Lion, and if you drive too far forward, doors won't open, which might already be the case now. They are opening now, but if you drive forward a little bit more, so that the rear is also on the platform, you will see that the doors won't open because the actual leading engine is not at a programmed platform. It's a technical story, but so you can either drive forward to the end and make sure that all the coaches are at the platform, and then pressing T won't actually open the doors. Or you can do it like this, then the rear engines are not at the platform but the doors will open. So it's a slight problem I've got driving this train on this route. Again, it's not an actual ideal route for the Lion, but I know for a fact that Zurich-Olten is a route that's being built now, and it will be obviously very in its place over there. Anyway, let's we're talking too much, so let's loosen the brake. You can actually, if you're on a gradient, you can already start putting on some power and then gradually lose the brake so that you won't roll back, which is also the case in the real one. I think up to 12 kilometers an hour you can use the EP brake simultaneous with power still being on. Makes it a little bit easier for shuttle operations. Obviously with the shuttle operations it's important that you can speed up and slow down very quickly, and that the operations are very simple because there's a lot of stops, and that's why they've changed this brake to it's just an electronical way to operate the normal brakes, so it's just a little bit faster. Okay, we haven't had much information on Zoop now because that wasn't needed, so I will drive on a little bit further, maybe skip some time using the magic of video, and then we will look at some of the basic Zoop in operations. For now, let's just drive on for a bit. Boltingen. Just passing that. We did not have a requested stoplight going on, so we just moved on. We have to go to 70. Okay, now we can see 40, so we will definitely have to slow down. And we just went too fast, so I wasn't paying attention. I was over the 70, way too far, and this means that even when we were still not at 40, we were going way too fast over the 70 speed restriction, which is one of the things that will happen if you do a tutorial. Anyway, we will kill that. You can either use the Q to move this one, and then press the red one to reset the system. Okay, this is another thing. I was always under the impression that with a Zwangsbremsung, so an emergency stop, the main switch would pop. It came to my knowledge that this is not the case, so I might do a patch and make that switch not pop on all my trains. If anyone knows anything about that, please put a remark below the video. But I'm pretty sure now that I've done this wrong all the time, and with an emergency brake, this doesn't pop. There is a Trennschutz, so like a circuit breaker somewhere else, which will pop, but not this one. At least that's the latest understanding of this thing. So I'll obviously try and change that in updates, or maybe with a patch. Anyway, we just had an emergency brake because I was not paying attention. I was going too fast. I've reset that. I first have to put the regulator to 0. Then I can switch on the main switch, and we should be ready again to drive off. So let's do that. Go. Okay, we only have to accelerate to 40 because now this has reset itself, so we have to pay attention now because the 40 now is gone here, but this is still something that when we drive off with Zoop normally 40 is like the speed limit. I've done a version where 40 would be here, but I don't think that's correct. I think it's like this, and the driver just knows that it's 40. Can't go any faster. Okay, let's there we've got the 40 again. A little bit faster. Normally what you will see is when it puts a restriction to 40, that normally means that you will have to take a switch, and also the H is lit, which means that we have to stop at this station, so the next station, Ermatingen, and and load or unload some passengers. But I think even if you don't have to stop, this train will go over a switch and you will have a restriction of 40. Sometimes it's 60. It depends, I think, on the angle that the switch is making. Obviously it's 40 here, so let's be careful. I'm a little bit too careful now. I'm only doing 30, but you'll get the idea. Okay, to stop, I'll use the EP brake. EP brake is actually quite strong. So what I'll do now is drive on a little bit past the platform, and what we'll see then is that the coaches are better positioned for passengers to load unload. But if I press the T, probably the doors won't open, or at least not all of them. Okay, some of them are opening, which is a good thing. I think I discussed this I discussed it at the start of this video too, where you have to sort of think about where to position your train on the platforms, because the platforms on this route are actually way too short for this service. I will add another scenario where we only have 3 coaches, which again is not happening in real, although they are connected in parts of 3, so it would be technically possible, but I don't think there are any lines driving around with only 3 carriages. But if I do that, because that's obviously the fun of doing simulation, we can just do whatever we want really, and that makes it more suitable for these platforms on this route. Anyway, we are ready to go again. Let's just put on some power. Wipers are over here. Oh, I'm going way too fast again. Anyway, I'll leave it at this. You'll get the idea. I just hope that you will have some fun driving this train, and hopefully there will be some more suitable routes for this train. One I know is being built. It looks very promising, and that's Zurich-Olten. If you go to train simulator .ch, so trainsimulator.ch, you will see progress on that. I'm in contact with Michael, who's building it, to look at the possibilities for operating the TrainworX trains on that route, and obviously the line would be very suitable for that. But I will give you more information on a later point. Anyway, thank you very much for watching this tutorial number 2. If you haven't seen the first one, please watch that too, because I've skipped some things here which are talked about in more detail on the first one. And again, I hope you have fun driving this train. Thank you very much.